Shag, marry, kill.
Oh.
Here we go. Marilyn Manson, Elton John, Elon Musk. Go.
Oh, Jen, you weapon. Shag. Oh. Kill Marilyn Manson.
Really?
So I'm not left... Yeah. I'm not left with much choice here.
I gave you bad ones on purpose.
Would say maybe shag Elton John.
Yeah.
Right. I'd say he knows what he's at. He's had a lot of sex. Mm-hmm. Elon Musk, I would marry pure and simply for the money. That's just me.
It is actually quite simple.
That's just me.
I'll make them harder next time, please. Hello, and you're welcome along to the Unpopular Opinion podcast. Second one of 2022, but the first kind of, we're recording this week, we're uploading this week, we're back. We're back. You missed us.
I'm Carla.
Yeah, I'm Jen.
Hey.
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 Joe, I was just thinking there when I walked in and you were on the phone, I was like, I'd be obsessed with you if I was just listening to you on the phone, like if you're on a bus.
Why?
Just because you're so posh.
I don't think I'm that posh.
This is how the other half lives.
I don't think I'm that posh. My friend in work, Gemma, she always says this to me. She's always like, "You're that posh, cunt."
Yeah. You're like, Sue, would you not rather pass out rather than engage? And I I'd be just fucking obsessed with listening to that conversation. Like if I was with somebody, like the love of my life, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he, like, you know, he's there talking to me and he's just like, these are our plans for the future. I'm going to impregnate you. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. I'm listening to your one on the phone.
Like I'm learning new words.
It's just so interesting. It's just like conversations that I wouldn't have. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just how the other half live. So interesting.
It's like the way I form a sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a weirdo.
I'm mad. I'm crazy.
Forewarning, I'm a bit phlegmy. I'm negative.
She's a neggy.
Stay positive, test negative, girls.
You're crazy. And you got a PCR.
I did, and I'm definitely... I got banned from work.
Congratulations.
And then I had to go back.
Oh, fuming.
I know, it's grand. I'm glad to be back. I fucking hate not having a routine.
Yes and no. So my new bedtime became 3 a.m. Hated it.
Oh.
Hated it. And you feel a bit like icky, don't you?
Yeah.
And I was only thinking that earlier.
It's like you live in a crack den.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
You feel like you're a teenager again. Mm. And you're watching like pirate films on your laptop.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Did anyone else do this?
You got them from Pirate Bay.
Yeah, but did anyone else do this where they used to like go home after a night out and try and watch a film?
No.
Oh, I used to do that.
See, how do the other half live? This is what I mean.
Like I'd be up until like 6 a.m. Like get home from a club.
See, this is the thing. Have a kid, it'll level you. You can't get up to that sort of stuff. You can't go that deep into
The possibilities,
the abyss. Yeah.
The possibilities.
This year, a reminder that we're on Patreon as well to get 5 extra episodes a month for the price of €6, and you will be supporting us as well if you really like us. That'd be great.
We have great crack over there.
We do.
Welcome to all the new people.
Yeah, got loads of new listeners.
What brought you?
Yeah, it's great. I think it was the Leaving in 2021.
Okay, unpopular opinion.
What?
I didn't think it was that good.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I was like, this is not Carla's best work. I'm not saying it was like it was me as well, obviously, but
we had done
it's your thing.
It's my thing, and I think we had done the marathon.
Yeah.
So we had done like 9 episodes in 2 weeks, which, by the way, I would never do it again. Never doing it again. We don't need the break. We can just plow through.
Didn't even feel like we had that much time off.
No, well, no, I felt like I again, popular opinion for you, I really missed this.
You went into the abyss. See, this is the thing, a kid will do that to you. I found it so much handier only having one job for once.
But Christmas went slow for me.
Did it?
You didn't have a ton of time off over Christmas though.
I did. I had more than what I had in retail.
Really?
Yeah. I found it very and you know what, I'm one of those people who loves a Monday when it comes up, because I'm just like, shit starts happening again, but I'm in the middle of buying a house, so I prefer when people are doing their fucking jobs and getting stuff done, especially when you're waiting on probate to come around, that sort of thing. So yeah, I'm glad to be back to normal now, to be very honest with you. Like, with the whole, like, the time off and stuff, it just gets a bit...
No, loved it. All right.
Loved it. This episode's about funerals.
So, statistically, January has the most amount of deaths, which statistically means it has the most amount of funerals.
Yeah.
Now, if you Google what month has the most amount of funerals in Ireland, you will be redirected a million times by the government website.
Okay.
And it's percentages and statistics and all this other horseshit. We talked about funerals in a different episode. We had loads of feedback of people being like, please do a full episode on funerals, because we'd kind of done one. I don't know what it was on, but I
think it was Family Feuds or something like that.
I floated out the idea about a funeral. This is a trigger warning. If death really upsets you, and if you are hurting, well, death upsets everyone, but if this is something that you don't feel like
you're ready for,
you can laugh at,
this
isn't going to be for you.
I feel like Irish funerals are also, Irish people deal with it in a way that they try to make light of the situation around the time, don't they? Because you go through that, like, the person will die, it's very sad, everybody is shocked, some people are on autopilot, and those, Ireland's weird in the sense that, say, like, for instance, in comparison to the UK, they have like 12 days.
Oh, they have like 3 weeks sometimes. Like, it can go on for quite a while.
Yeah, and I don't know.
I'm not comfortable with that.
I know that it's different with every country, and I know there's other countries, but us particular, like 3 days max.
Yeah,
you're talking between death and coffin,
and that's a superstitious thing
in the ground. Yeah,
that's us, old Catholic Ireland, being like, no, once they're gone, they're gone. Get them gone.
Get them gone. Yeah.
Otherwise, they won't go up to meet their maker.
So, as far as I know, and I only heard this from a radio DJ before, and we know, like, if you're an Irish radio DJ, prepare to be triggered, because if you host a show by yourself, you know, I hear you, you're after researching the most random bit of fucking thing just to fill the air between songs, between the news, you come up with some random shit. But I do remember hearing from an Irish radio DJ before, Irish, like, these stories. So, you know, poaching is kind of... Is it poaching or poaching? I'm going to say
I thought poaching, but whatever.
Yeah, poaching. So it's very strong alcohol fermented from potato skins, all that sort of stuff. So it's a really strong drink. And back in the day, I'm talking 1800s, 1700s, like back in the day, they used to drink poaching. And some to the point where they'd be fuckered, like gone, passed out, barely any blood pressure, like barely a heart rate. So back then, when somebody would pass out from that, it'd be custom to have them lying on a table, and you have a party around them, and that's what they call a wake, to try and wake them up. Sometimes they'd wake up and sometimes they wouldn't. So if they didn't, and this was the 2 or 3 day thing, if they didn't wake up after that time, then you put them in the ground, but they put bells on top of their graves.
Yeah.
And then if the bell rang...
Heard this, yeah.
That's what they call a dead ringer. But, like, that rarely happened as well. But it was a thing that they used to do. So, I don't know if that's where the whole 2-3 day thing came from. Maybe it's a religious thing. Everything else in Ireland is a religious thing, so probably. But that's a story that I heard. And I wonder, is that got to do with the time difference? Because there's other countries where it can go on for weeks.
Well, I think it is... It like, death is the same with... marriage and a lot of other things is to do with celebration and generally to do with religion, as far as I was aware, and from as far as what I can remember, the whole 3 day thing is very much a Catholic thing.
Okay.
Like, get them gone.
Get them up to Peter.
Catholic Irish thing.
At the gate.
Because we're like that. Like, we're superstitious. We don't want dead people hanging around.
Yeah.
Get them good and gone. You know, worst thing for us is probably an autopsy, because that takes time.
Yeah.
But yeah, just thought we'd do something fun, lighthearted, and a bit of a gas about funerals.
Just something lighthearted. Funerals.
Just something a little bit so when my granny died.
Yeah.
Very sad. But yeah, so I thought we could do something fun, interesting, lighthearted. Everybody has a funeral story. There is no icon quite like the funeral sandwich.
Or soup.
There is no beer quite like a pint pulled after a funeral and afters essentially.
Yeah.
But of a funeral. And look, we've had a rough couple of years. Just thought we'd have a bit of crack about funerals.
Yeah.
So then saying that, any stories, Jen?
I've had a lot of deaths in my family. Some quite tragic, so them funerals I'll not mention. I did nearly run a few grannies down at one funeral because I was so like, I was giving other people a lift, and it was most of my family's funerals have taken place in the Church of Annunciation in Finglas, the big church. It's gone now. They're after demolishing it. But I remember the last funeral that I was at, I nearly ran a couple of people down because I couldn't find a spot, and I was like, I'm family! I was just up in fucking arms because I was like giving other people a lift and stuff. And they started walking towards my car, in fairness. Like, I mean, if it was to blame, it would have been questionable who was to blame if the collision did happen. But at the same time, I just remember getting out of the car being fucking scarlet. I was like, this was nearly a 3 for 2. But anyway, that's one little story. I remember laughing at my granddad's funeral because my cousin and my sister were crying, and I was like, it's fucking dopes. Because they were older than me and they were crying.
Why? What age were you?
I was like 5, I think. Yeah. I was really immature. I remember staying in my other grandparents' house.
Well, you were 5, Jen, you're allowed.
While everything, was happening. And like, I remember my ma saying, when she told us, I remember that moment when she said, your granddad's after passing away, because my sister had more of an understanding of it. She's 5 years older than me. Yeah. And my ma sat us down and she was like, I have something to tell you. And my sister knew straight away. She was like, oh my God, granddad's after dying, isn't he? And I was like, where did you get that from? Like, as if to say, how did you know that? You know what I mean?
Whoa, what?
She started bawling straight away. I didn't have any emotions. My granddad was always in hospital. Like, I didn't see him that often, and I'm 5. I don't have any sort of logic.
You're 5.
So I see Kim crying, and I'm like, oh, I better start crying. So I start fake crying.
I did that too.
Did you?
I did that too when my granddad died.
Yeah.
I did that. That is so funny. So my cousins were staying in my house. My granddad had pulmonary fibrosis. So I didn't know him not on an oxygen machine. Yeah. So I can't, and he was quite frail. He died at 66. He looked a lot older, in that kind of way. Yeah. In my, when you're a kid, you're like,
back in the day.
Yeah.
Wrinkles.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? You're like, oh my God, you're so old. You're only like 60.
They died young.
They did.
Didn't they?
They did. But I didn't know this at the time. Like, my dad was only 40. Fuck. Like, isn't that crazy?
Can't imagine Ray being 40.
I know. But he had his 40th early because we kind of knew that granddad was on his because obviously with pulmonary fibrosis it's like pretty terminal. So you kind of know what the situation is. But I remember getting the call, my cousins were there, and I was fuming because my cousins had to go home. I was like,
oh yeah, you were having time with your best cousins.
And my mum told my sister, and then my sister started crying. My sister's 3 years older than me, and I was just kind of looking at them, and they were like hugging, so I just kind of ran over and was like, yeah. Little cunt. I'm a little cunt. And I don't remember much other than my dad was really sad.
Yeah. Whose dad was it?
It was my dad's dad. It was Ray's dad. My grandparents are still, Kay and Val are still alive.
Fair play to them.
Rocking out. But I remember like hearing snippets of my dad like saying stuff to people, so then I'd go and repeat them.
Oh, stop.
You know? And they just knew. The doctor just knew. When he came up, he just had a look at him and he just...
I'd say... What age were you?
9.
I'd say your relatives were looking at her going, little cunt. They knew. Like, they're looking at you going, she's a dope.
But I thought that I was real, like, news reporter. Yeah, I was like, and they just knew.
Yeah.
Just had a look at him and they said, he's gone.
Fuck's sake.
And then I remember seeing him that was the only wake I think I've been to where I've seen...
Oh, dead body?
No, I've had somebody die in my arms before, so...
What?
Yeah.
Who?
It was a student. I tried to resuscitate her. I think I've told this story.
No, you haven't.
Yeah. My friend, so I was living, I'll try and shorten this down. Yeah. So I was living me and my best mate were living in her uncle's house. Her uncle used to, still does, has a company that's American Irish, has 2 headquarters or whatever. So we were living in the gaff while he was kind of going back and forth all the time to kind of mind the house. Her aunt lives on the same plot and she had students.
Right.
And my mate Shauna had gotten up to go to college, and one of the other students was like, "Hi, can you please come over and see what's happened to one of the," like, he hadn't a clue, God bless him, Junior, he was Brazilian, and he grabbed Shauna. Shauna was like, "Oh fuck," like, saw her, came, grabbed me, and she was like, "I think," and I'll never forget it, because she goes, "I think one of Georgina's students is dead," and I was like, "No, she's not." You know, in your head, I was like, come on, let's not be so dramatic. Yeah. But yeah, no, God bless her. Yeah, so we got there. I was like, oh shit, call an ambulance. And then I tried to resuscitate her.
Oh, fuck.
She was still warm though, so she wasn't...
What?
She wasn't fully dead.
I have questions. Like, what did she die of?
Meningitis.
Oh, fuck.
Mm-hmm. She was from... not Sweden. She was from somewhere where they're very dodgy about vaccines.
Right,
you know, one of the European countries. So she was never vaccinated. Yeah, so she died of bacterial meningitis.
Jesus.
Yeah, very bad.
Jesus, that's shocking.
Yeah, and it was a very
tragic, isn't it, for a young person abroad?
She was 19.
Oh, God.
She was 19. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot more to that story, but that was basically the gist of it. So, wow. But my granddad was the first person that I saw dead, and she was the second person that I saw dead.
Yeah, I've been to a few where the coffin's been in the sitting room.
I just kind of don't love it. I don't know about a wake for me personally.
Do you know what? It's the priest coming up and just fucking boring the life out of you for me. I can't with that. Like, I can't. Like, you know, like these people, right, okay, fair enough with me nanas and stuff. I actually don't know. I was kind of... My nana, Janie... I don't think she had a wake in the house. I think they were more like, we just saw the coffin closed and at the church the next day. But they weren't particularly religious. But when you were having the wake, even if the coffin wasn't there, the priest would still show up. It was kind of like a rehearsal.
Yeah,
it was like, who's going to do a reading? Yeah, and everybody would go, not me, you know, like, Bugsy, it's you. You know, that kind of thing.
Be like, right, all so the three of you are going to do the reading. Brilliant.
And you had to, it was like, oh, get the biscuits out for the priest, get the Kimberleys out for the priest. Do you want a cup of tea, Father? You know, all this sort of shit. And I'm just like, the vision of the priest walking through the door depressed me more than the fucking dead person. I'm not good, like, unpopular opinion, it used to wreck me head every time I was at a funeral. I was like, here he fucking is. Like, you know, this
here he is, Jesus Christ himself.
Fucking melt.
Yeah.
But and like the people themselves who passed away weren't probably like more the people that I went to the funerals for, they weren't religious. What are you showing up for, acting like, do you know, I know that they're very much in the community, and people who are into the church and the parish and all that sort of stuff do have good relationships with their priests and stuff like this. But I don't know, our family was just never really like that. Me, Nana Hatton probably. Yeah. She went to like a few bits around the area and stuff, so alright with her, but the rest of them, no. I'm just like, you're rocking up like you fucking own the gaff.
Yeah, I can see it. It's very... But they love a tradition of priests.
They love it.
They love a cellar. And I just tell you one person...
I'd say they'd be fucking rubbing the hands, do you know, before they come in. Going in here now, come on, get your game face on. You know, like doing all the fucking stretches.
I'm in and I'm the main.
He knows all eyes are on him when he's walking through them doors. Yeah. And I wouldn't mind my granddad. He was the last person in my family to pass. And he had... It was Dardistown crematorium that he went to, and he had like a wicker coffin. It wasn't religious. Was there a cross on it? I think there was a cross on it actually, but it was very like not that religious. Like he didn't go to a religious kind of crematorium or anything like that. It was very much like you could go there really if you didn't believe in God or anything like that, and you'd be grand. It was a church funeral and stuff, but I just remember that being the first time it wasn't really religious kind of crematorium. You know, like Glasnevin. They're gone into that, like there's Mother of Jesus is everywhere, like. Yeah. Whereas Dardistown is kind of a nice one. Because I was kind of shooting through the DMs and I could see like people saying that they want a humanist type of funeral and stuff like that. What's your ideal funeral? What do you want?
I want a bit of crack.
Yeah, same.
Like I want it to be, I don't want this mopey, sad readings. No. I want, like, do you remember when she was 5? Do you remember when she was 30 and she did this? Do you remember
she was 9 and she was at her granddad's funeral and she was saying, the doctors just knew.
Yeah. You know, that's what I want.
Little tick.
Yeah, I want like people, you know, if I go before my time, touch wood, I want it to be a banger. Like I want it to be a belter. I want everyone to know about it.
Yeah.
And whoever wants to have a bit of crack, go. I don't want people having pity parties. I'm dead. Me.
Yeah, you're not.
You're not fucking dead.
Yeah.
So like have a bit of fun.
Right.
You know, and like on my anniversary, have a bit of fun. Don't be this whole like, oh, we're visiting the grave. No. Like stall it when you feel like it. On my anniversary, go for dinner. Do something that I would have liked to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Go buy a bag, you know? Live your life.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? That would be my thing.
Watch a movie till 6 a.m.
Yeah, just fucking go for it. It's Christmas. Like wear colours.
Yeah.
More elaborate, the better. But preferably think you should get your makeup done. But, you know, we'll see how your budget's looking, you know, in that kind of way.
See who's available at the time.
See who's available at the time. I won't be.
Yeah.
I'm booked out.
Carla's not doing your
I'm
makeup.
booked out. So, yeah, that would be my ideal. I think...
What would you like to be dressed like in the coffin? Is it an open coffin?
No, I don't know if I'd be... And this is the thing, because I think I don't want to be cremated.
Right.
Because...
I don't know what's more fucking terrifying.
I prefer my body to go into the earth.
Yeah.
Just decay, you know?
So you'd need to go in like a blanket.
Why a blanket?
I don't feel like... Right.
I don't want my hair to be fab, because hair stays.
Me whole thing, right, I don't want to be putting me tinfoil hat on or anything like that, but I am kind of like a bit... See with funeral homes and stuff like that with the coffins. I'm like, did they really bury them? You see that coffin going into the ground and you walk away. For all you know...
Do you think they put me back in a shitty one?
I don't know.
I'm not paying $7,000 for them to put me back into a shitty coffin.
I have a fee. I don't know.
I want that's another thing. I want an elaborate coffin. It's the only thing you can, an elaborate coffin.
How quick is that going to decompose into the earth? Or you're not really giving yourself back to the earth if you're going in a wooden coffin. That's what I mean. Like,
I want a fabulous headstone.
You need to go in a fucking brown bin.
I want a white marble headstone. I'm not going in the brown bin.
I want a tomb.
I do. I'd like a crypt.
I'd love it.
I'd love a crypt.
I'd love a crypt.
It'd be very me.
That would be my preference, just because, right, cremation, my whole thing is, right, after I quote unquote die, am I really dead? This is the whole thing. What if I wake up? I don't want to wake up 6 feet under in a box, and I don't want to wake up when I'm going into the fire either.
Yeah.
So this terrifies me. So
more chance of getting out of the box in the fire.
More chance of getting out of a crypt than anything.
True.
Do you know?
Never thought of that. Another pro for the crypt.
Another pro. So I start saving now, is what I would say.
We'll just use the Patreon money.
Tutankhamun part 2. Fucking.
How is lads? You're actually paying for my funeral. We're going to Egypt on this bad boy.
Yeah. No, it is nice, but like I do think sometimes the funerals, it depends, and people use their discretion, obviously. So say like you did go before your time in a tragic accident, and like there was a load of kind of things that could have been different, that, you know, if this didn't happen, she'd still be here. That, like, you know, like a chain of events, and it was just really fucking tragic. Mm-hmm. I think people act much differently at a funeral and get a whole lot more morbid when somebody is tragically taken before their time. Whereas if somebody is dying, say in palliative care, and they have a DNR, they just want to be made comfortable, that kind of thing. It's very different. It's almost a relief in that case. Yeah. Whereas when somebody's taken and it's like a fucking shock, that's when people, I don't think, say what you were saying, no matter how much you drill it into people, I want people to wear glitter, I want them to get their makeup done, I want to be fabulous in my coffin, I want you all to have a great party, go on the bag. I don't think if you were taken before your time, anybody would do any of that, because it's just so much more tragic and it's so much more depressing.
But this is what I mean. I don't want, like, stop moping about. This isn't about you. I died. Yeah. My wishes. Me.
That's true. You'll never get through to somebody, because I've been to funerals where people have taken their own lives and it's a different fucking ball game.
Absolutely. But what I will say, I have a public platform. I'm saying it out there now, gang.
Okay. I'll
This is
rip them
recorded.
into shape.
This is out there. You know what I want, and it's a crypt.
I'll whip them into shape, Carla. Don't you worry, right? If you go, say in the next 10 years or so, I'll whip them all into shape.
Do you know? Just why next 10 years? Why not forever?
No, I just mean
we're gonna be friends forever.
Yeah, no, I know that, but if you go before your time, is what I mean.
Yeah.
If you die in your 80s, I don't give a fuck.
Why? Oh. You guys, she's being mean again.
Nobody gives a fuck if you die in your 80s. No, but they do. Obviously, like their families.
I still want it to be a celebration.
It's always like,
they're
at peace now. Yeah, that kind of thing. You know, that people say.
Yeah.
We have people who have given us some funeral stories here. And as a New Year's resolution, we had said we're going to chop our time down of each episode down to about 40 minutes. But we got a lot of people. So this is going to be part 2 of this will be on our Patreon, but we'll start it now. I've explicitly told my family that my funeral is to be a humanist one. That if they dare bring me near a priest/church, I'll haunt them forevermore. Also, I want people to share their funny stories or good times as part of the funeral service. With lots of my fave songs, which I've started a playlist of. She has her own funeral playlist. Genius. Maybe a bit morbid, but sure, look, I know what I want. See, that to me doesn't seem morbid. Well, on your behalf, yeah. But for the people, like, if you didn't have any control or any say in that, people would make you morbid. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I have been fucking brought to my knees with sadness over what people have done for other people's funerals.
Yes, yeah, and you're like, it's so beautiful.
It is, and it is. Like, don't get me wrong, it is. Like, Jesus, Adam's cousin passed away last year. She was 20 now. She had a disability and she wasn't variable, or she didn't really have a quality of life. Eventually found out that she had cancer and she obviously died before her time. And the stuff that was done for her was so fucking sad. But it was like, it's like, oh, I don't know. Like, I feel like if she had wishes that were kind of like her own, it would have been just a bit easier to handle.
Yeah.
And that's a selfish thing to say, because that's, you know, she's the one after Pat. Like you said, it's not about me.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, like if you know it's somebody's wish, like my granddad wanted us all to wear bright colours. Yeah. And that was just a nice thing to have on the day.
Yeah.
Do you know?
And so do I, just reiterating.
Another thing. We'll do out a little list.
Wear white.
In paper.
Except not wear colour. Okay. Yeah. I've one here. Funny funeral story. At my nana's funeral, super upset. The bit where people come up to sympathise. My brother, who's around 10 at the time, good age, as me and Jen have said, for funerals, good age, they haven't a clue. Yeah. Kept calling my mum, who in typical Irish mammy fashion, kept telling him to shut up through grinded teeth. She eventually gave in and asked, what's wrong? He asked, what does I, N or I stand for? Which is on top of the crucifix. Yes. Mum, again, being a typical Irish mammy, not wanting to admit that she didn't know, told him, shut up, don't worry about it, and continued to shake the hands of the people in the line to sympathise. My aunt, who was sat beside my mum, turned around and said, I know what it stands for. My brother's eyes light up, and my aunt turned around and said, I'm nailed right in, I-N or I. Needless to say, me, my brother and my mum went into convulsions laughing as my aunt, who had told us this, tutted at us as people came to offer their sympathies.
Oh, that's brilliant. It's those little things, and I think I have never gone into such, like, some of my best fits of laughter have happened at funerals or wakes.
So, funeral story. My nan dies 10 years after my granddad. God bless her. She had an awful 10 years once my granddad died. She just didn't cope. You know, she was one of them. She just couldn't cope. And at her funeral, oh, my family, another thing, my father, right, obsessed with a funeral. Yeah. Oh, if he met you once at a tennis match, he's going to that funeral. Fuck off. He loves a funeral.
Isn't it mad, the random, obviously not with COVID, and obviously these stories are excluding pandemic, because that's just fucking tragic the way you can only have a certain amount of people at a funeral. But like, you would, a neighbour that you live next door to for 2 months when you rented that time would
Ray
show
would be
up.
there. Ray's
yeah,
there.
Yeah.
If you,
but I've seen that plenty of times. Like
Ray be at Adam's.
Yeah.
like never met him, but I have to go to pay my respects. He just loves a funeral.
Yeah,
Loves a funeral. Will always go to a funeral or a wake. Now I get it. He has always said that it's the reason why he loves funerals and the reason why he goes to so many is because it's to pay respect to the part that they were in your life, no matter how big they were or small.
That's very sweet.
And he was taught that.
Yeah.
His dad taught him that, so he doesn't miss one.
Yeah.
And if somebody dies while he's away, he's fucking raging.
There with bells on.
Do you know? Like he's signing that book of condolences online. Like that thing's getting signed. But at my nan's funeral, she was getting lowered down into the ground. And at that point, it kind of hadn't hit me because I had to do a reading. And, I was 19 at the time. And, when you're like... The pressure. So you're kind of freaked.
Yeah.
You can't really take any of the funeral in. Mm-hmm. By the way, I think they're too long.
Yeah, there's no need.
I want mine 30 minutes or less.
And the fucking incense and the water. Do you ever get splashed?
No incense for me. I hate when they splash. I'm like, what?
Are you going to have a religious one?
I don't know yet. I'll see.
So you're still adding to the list, are you?
Yeah.
All right,
I'll
grand.
see it, yeah. But,
so it's not done yet. It's not what raving around.
It's not done yet, gang. But here's a couple of suggestions. Like, come together, get a committee, figure it out. But my nan...
Few little funeral hacks.
Funeral hacks with Carla Kay. I'm going to do it real. For your funeral.
Yeah. Do you know the way they do for... I've been to some serious weddings over the last 5 years. Here's what I picked up.
I mean, like, I have had multiple family members die. Here's what I picked up. Yeah.
I love it.
So, at this, my dad has an aunt who's, in particular, inappropriate.
Right.
Inappropriate in the way that, like, she is just old Irish, Catholic to the hit. Do you know that kind of, like...
Yeah.
There's a routine, there's a way that things are done. Do you know? And that's just how she is. So, my nan is getting lowered down. And it kind of had just hit me and Amy. At the same time, my sister, we were just kind of standing there and we both just burst into tears. And I was like, oh my God, Ethna's dead. Like, when you're like, oh my God, she's fucking dead. Well, I tell you, this aunt, I won't say her name because anybody will know exactly who I'm talking about, comes mincing it over, flies up, one arm around Amy's shoulder, another arm around mine. Well, girl, she's gone. Oh. Granny gone. God. And when you're laughing... Yeah. But crying. So we were like, and I was like, and my mum just starts shaking. Like my mum's like vibrating beside me and my aunt is on Amy's side and the two of them are vibrating. So then we're vibrating because I'm like, is this? She's gone, girls. Granny's gone. You'll never see her again. She's gone.
Fuck sake.
Not a fuck given. She was she came sprinting the minute she saw us crying. She was like, here's my chance.
Oh my God, what was wrong with her?
Yeah. So me and my sister, like, I was only chatting to my mum about this over the weekend. I was like, do you remember? And she was like, oh, Granny gone. We could never forget. She was like, I was just standing there being like, what the fuck?
That minute when they're getting dropped in today.
That's a tough minute.
That's very hard, especially if there's music playing.
Yeah.
That's very hard.
Stay away from the Eva Cassidy.
It's the fucking Arms of the Angels.
Oh.
I haven't been able to listen to that since my auntie's funeral. I cannot listen to the full song straight through.
It doesn't matter anyone ever. If I hear that song, I'm like, no, this is purely for a funeral. This song has no other purpose than to be sad.
Have you ever seen that video of the Irish funeral where your man, he was obviously terminal in some sort of way. He knew he was going and he wanted to prank his family. So he did a recording of him saying, help, let me out. Now, apparently he was a prankster. Like, this has done the rounds. It's a couple of years old on Facebook. And it was like, oh, Godell, I don't know what his name is. I'm sure some of our followers know because there's like thousands of comments underneath it going, oh my God, I knew him. I think it was Brenner or something like that. And it was like, there was some people were absolutely horrified. They were like, what the obviously people who didn't know him, but it was his kids that he did this with, and you could just see the shoulders going of all the people laughing who knew him. And I just thought it was so good because it's that moment when they're getting lowered. That's when it plays. Yeah. So when he's getting lowered into it, all you can hear is him knocking. It's like that, help, let me out. Oh, it's real dark in here. You know, it was actually very funny, but a lovely moment as well for the family.
Maybe I should add pranks to it.
Do it. Next in here, went around to my uncle's funeral ordering the pints, etc., and bringing them to the tables and the soup and sambos. Got €2 for every pint or soup run I made. Made a mint. I was 9. That's when you get the money. That's when you get the money.
Entrepreneur.
Another funeral story. I'll never forget my granddad Ned's funeral. Everyone was bawling their eyes out, and the priest was the most insensitive. He blurts out with no hesitation, "Well, that's it. Ned is dead." Found a match for your auntie. The room was too stunned to speak until my cousin, who was 4 at the time, jumps up from the bench and roars all over the church, "What is Ned like? Dead like baby Jesus, ma?"
I mean,
in his big, thick Q-lock accent. Well, there wasn't a dry eye left in the church.
but that's what I like. Have the crack.
Yeah. That's just... I can imagine the chaos.
Yeah, everybody be like, "Whoa."
It's the kid. What, is Ned dead like baby Jesus?
Do you know what I love at a funeral as well? You know the designated dad with all the kids?
Can't say I've seen a dad.
There's always a dad.
Yeah.
That's designated to deal with all the kids, because there's always like a daughter or somebody who's passed away or someone's doing a reading, and you can the sheer panic in those men's eyes, and it's always like the kid is crying or something's going on, and they're so sheepish.
Yeah,
it's like, just imagine most dad looking bloke out there, Paul Rudd.
Who?
Paul Rudd.
Rudd.
He's a real dad. Yeah, he's a real dad, isn't he? You can imagine him sheepish. It's always around that age.
Yeah.
Real sheepish with the kids, and they're like, just won't stop crying. No, give me, where'd you find the football? Come back here, Tiernan. This is gas. And they're like trying to shrug it off because everyone's like staring at him, you know?
Inappropriate,
right? My partner passed away in October. Oh, condolences.
Oh, God.
I wanted to carry the coffin with his friends into the church. I'm 5 foot and everybody was way taller than me, so I carried my partner's coffin on my head.
Fucking fair play to you.
Not like ingenuity.
Yeah.
Clever.
Brilliant.
You knew what you were at. You said, no, you're not.
I'm doing this.
You're not including me.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this. I don't care that I'm 5 foot. It's going to go on my head.
It's like, I'm surprised you didn't go around and get other heighted men to do that instead. Just to say fuck you.
Love it.
That's brilliant.
You were like, I'm fucking carrying the thing. Don't you do.
Funeral stories. My number one. Number one. My friend's mum passed and I was in the queue at the rosary to sympathise with the family and got to her dad. The widower went to give him a hug and punched him clean in the face. Okay.
Oh, drama.
Yeah.
Drama.
Another friend's mum died. Same story. Was in the queue, went to hug her and dad, and got foundation all over his white shirt.
My mum did that to my dad. My mum did that to my dad.
Same funeral. I shook hands with all the rest of the family. I was very close with them all. And when it came down to the extended family / partners, I fucking hugged one of the partners. I got so awkward. I don't know what happened to me. I know they are not that bad, but they are the things that still live in my brain rent-free and die a little inside every time I think of them. Also, when my ma dies, she doesn't want anyone crying. No one is to wear black, and she wants to hire someone for karaoke.
Yeah, could
I like
be cool.
that. Yeah.
A funeral singer.
The rosary, like queuing up to shake everyone's hands.
Don't
especially
like
when you don't know them. I hate
that
part.
It's so awkward.
Hate being part of the family. Give me right. You have a list of things.
Yeah.
Right? That you like have to happen at a funeral. 1 to 10. That's 11. That's the fucking last thing you need at a funeral. Is a load of people
shaking your hand,
coming up and shaking your hand, and you're having to compose yourself.
Yeah, no, that's the. I never liked that. Like where you're in the line of the family and everybody's like,
you have to shake hands with a load of people that you don't fucking know, and they don't fucking know you. They don't necessarily. They're only there. They're only there to
pay
to
the
show
respect,
their face.
the relationship that you had in the life.
That's the thing. Like, you know, I have been to a few funerals where the priest will turn around and say, "Look, the family don't want that," you know, and I'm like, "Fucking yes."
I hate it. It's so awkward.
One of the weirdest.
It's
things.
It's a really weird tradition. I get it, but there's too many extended family and it's just awkward. It's super fucking awkward.
It is unnecessary.
We had Rice Krispie buns and pink champagne at my cousin's funeral. It was fab until some of the younger family members used pictures from that day as their profilers.
Now what do you think of photos at funerals?
She said #read the room.
Yeah.
I would want a photographer hired, I think.
Would
mine.
you?
Yeah. Get some cute snaps.
Have you ever seen somebody taking a fucking selfie at an open hole?
People have done that, especially in America. I feel like I've seen loads of people take, like, you've seen all them TikToks, people trying to go viral and stuff, and I'm like, what is wrong with
I know,
you?
and taking selfies at the coffin and stuff like that. It's so fucking weird.
Yeah. I also have one from someone here going, no funeral, put me in a cheap box and burn me. Nobody allowed to go to the funeral, only immediate family, no cousins, like immediate, only my children. My best friend is allowed to go, but only if she dresses as the Grim Reaper. Otherwise, she can stay at home and cry there. No mass, no announcements on RIP, nothing. Literally fire me up and be done with it.
Jesus.
I love it.
Introvert much?
No, but I just
doesn't even want to socialise when she's dead.
Yeah, she doesn't want anybody being allowed to socialise around her.
She wants the shock effect.
She does. She's dead, and guess what? She's fucking gone.
No, she wants people to be talking about her in a few years and go, oh, she died. Did she?
Yeah, her friend dressed up as the Grim Reaper. Yeah, it was very, very intense.
We'll go one more, then we'll have our own popular opinion, and we'll carry on Patreon. Couple of things that have stuck with me about funerals. One being as a kid, the weird distant relatives you've never met in your life showing up, and your parents forcing you to go and play with your stranger third cousins while they do the serious grown up stuff. Secondly, my mum, who is a blessing to this earth for her kindness and patience of a saint, nearly thrown scraps at my uncle's judgmental bitchy, now ex-wife, at my nana's funeral. As she carelessly painted her nails at the top of my nana's white lacy tablecloth in the dining room. Not for the funeral, oh no, but for the lunch she was having with her rich bitch friends straight after the funeral, skipping the gathering you have afterwards. Imagine. Oh, yeah, I'm just going to go to this funeral now, but just need to paint my nails on your dead mother's white lace tablecloth.
I can see why it would be an issue.
Yeah. But I can also see myself being that.
I was about to say, but I it's not unlike me. It's not unusual.
Yeah. You know.
Like, could be me.
I'm trying to... What's the relationship here? So... Oh, yeah, okay. So it was her nana's funeral, and then, yeah, so that would have been her mother-in-law. Maybe more questions not to be asked. We're going to carry this conversation on Patreon, so come on over there, and if you haven't already, just check her out. Just come over and give us a chance.
You'll like it, I swear.
Will, yeah. Have you got an unpopular opinion for the week?
I do.
If you do, I will play the chat.
Still laughing.
I'm so out of practice. I forget what all them buttons
Shannon
are.
kept hitting the wrong buttons.
Oh, yeah,
and I was like, bam, 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 bam. All of our different tunes.
But through the art of editing, you didn't hear it.
Yeah. But Jen's also a fucking banging producer. So.
Hire me.
Hire. Gang, this is one, and it might upset a very select few people. But this is just an opinion that I own, that I have, and that I hate. Alpha Parf, gang.
Ooh.
It's shy.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
Think so?
No, it is. I've talked to many hairdressers over the years about this.
Right.
And I do a good bit of looking into hair science nowadays. And it's not good stuff. It's not great quality.
It's bullshit, is it?
It's not good quality stuff.
I have used it and liked it. I never stuck with it.
Yeah.
I can't say my hair went to... my hair did go to shit while I was using it, but I don't think it was that. I think it was more like the change of water and stuff like that. I did like it. And I do use some of their styling stuff, but not a lot. I prefer Jayco. Jayco's great. What do you think of Jayco?
I've not tried as much stuff from Jayco as I have from Alpha Parf, but in particular with Alpha Parf, it's heavily scented.
Yeah.
Coats, a lot of their styling products does little other than coat.
Right.
And not in a good way. And just not...
It's not for you.
Do you know when I see people touting it, I'm kind of like, I get that it's a really easy price point entry into like luxury hair care and into like more of a premium hair care field, do you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Up until a couple of years ago, we were all using Mane and Tail and Trace the May, and we thought that we were about to walk Milan Fashion Week, do you know?
Tresemme.
And we were like,
they don't even advertise that anymore.
I know, but do you remember we were like, this is the good stuff.
This is professional.
Yeah.
This is what the professional hairdressers like. I have never used that stuff in my life.
Silicone in a bottle. There's just plenty of much better brands out there for a very similar price point.
Give us some recommendations there, Carla.
Colour Wow is fantastic.
I will say it's
hot shit. It's really, really good. The stuff is really fucking très bien, brilliant quality. I always get this, I think it's Divinays, but it looks like Divines. Do you know?
Right.
Do you know that way?
Yeah.
I can't remember the way that you're supposed to pronounce it, but they have a milk that's excellent.
Where'd
They
you
have a
get
lot
that?
of different things. Literally just Google it. I think it's on all the like Look Fantastics, beauty features, all that other kind of stuff. Yeah, I just think a lot of it's really heavily coated. I remember the first time I got my hair fixed, because I had my hair and it was kind of yellow for a while, you know, when you go thing. But it was quite yellow, and I'd said it to Tom's sister's, a hairdresser, and she was like, what is she using? And I was like, she's using Alpha Parf. And she was like, that's the reason. And I was like, oh. And she was like, and then I remember that kind of triggered me. And then ever since, I've done a lot more research. Now, you might have an opinion. This is called the unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
You don't like it?
I don't like it, and I've not liked it I've given it plenty of chances over the years. I tried the styling. Yeah, not for me.
Oh, okay.
So there you go.
Right. And do you have a stomper of the week?
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
All right. So we'll go into that.
We'll go into that. Do you know which button?
I know. Let's give it a chance.
Carla's Stomper of the Week. I added this to the playlist earlier.
Sorry, producer excellence. Go for it.
I added this to the playlist earlier because I thought, oh shit, I added loads to the playlist.
Ah, fuck.
Okay.
What was the go from the bottom.
Okay. I've got another one lined up. This one is called Venus versus Mars. It's a Jay-Z song. Okay. It's an absolute, one of those, it went under the radar, and it was because it was from one of those albums that was kind of like 2010, 2011, when Jay-Z wasn't as...
Yeah.
He wasn't doing girls.
Yeah.
That stuff.
I guess.
So I'm going to play a few little segments for you now.
Yeah. Give us a little go here.
Shawty get it in.
Daddy go hard.
Shawty get it in.
Daddy go yeah.
Shawty,
you know what I mean? It's like
Mars. Whether black or white, both like
it's
mine.
fucking scruffy,
like
isn't
Jordan.
it?
Both feels nice.
We need to do that actually. We need to set up our
Manky playlist.
Because we had, what was the other one? Uchi Walla Walla.
Yeah, Uchi Bang Bang.
And we were like, that's fucking manky. But it's a vibe.
It's a vibe.
Manky's a vibe. We need to set up that playlist as well. Yeah. Thanks a million for listening. We hope you enjoyed. Join us over on Patreon if you can, if you dare. We would appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week. Love you. Bye.
Bye.